Laura Jays, Sky News, Canberra.
The Maritime Union has been awarded an injunction by the federal court that prevents the sacking of 97 port workers. Now, it follows the mass sacking of Hutchison wharfies by text and email last Thursday. This news is just breaking, and we go to our reporter Cameron Price now outside the federal court. Take us through what was said in the court today, the arguments made and what the result has been. Cameron?
Stan, good evening. Well, the Maritime Union of Australia said the decision to sack 97 wharfies in Sydney and Brisbane who worked at Hutchison wharves was unfair for a whole range of reasons, least of all that they were sacked by a text message in the middle of the night told that they wouldn't be required at work the following day, that to check their emails and that their possessions at work would be posted to them. Well, today the federal court has sided with the Maritime Union of Australia and ordered a temporary injunction, meaning that those 97 staff for now cannot be terminated by Hutchison Ports. Lawyers for Hutchison were saying that this would be an extraordinary rule, sending sacked workers back to the job site. Of course, those workers and many, many more have been picketing outside ports in both Sydney and Brisbane since this decision was made a week ago by Hutchison. Today's decision means that those staff can, it seems, stay in work, can possibly even go back to work until a formal hearing takes place at the end of the month. Earlier today we heard from the unions about these sackings. Let's take a listen. They said they were grossly unfair.
We're here seeking justice from a company that seeks and deems that it's acceptable to sack workers by text message in the middle of the night, and it's a total disgrace, and we're here to use the court system to see if there's some form of justice to get those workers back on the job. This is a question for every single worker in Australia. If you can be sacked by text message in the middle of the night, what hope have any of us got?
Now, Cameron, there are two issues here. One, the way that the workers were dismissed by text and so on, but there is also the ongoing question about the viability of the workforce, whether the number of jobs are going to be there with Hutchison. Where does it go to from here as far as those talks are concerned?
Well, the argument from Hutchison today was that if the injunction were allowed and the workers were sent back to work, there would be no work for them to do because a large project of automation is happening at the ports at the moment and there simply isn't the work there at the moment for them. Just what this means for the logistics of these 97 workers, we don't know at this stage, but what we do know is they were due to be officially terminated from their employment tomorrow. Now that is not possible because of this injunction until a formal hearing takes place on the 31st of August. Stan?
Cameron, I don't know if you can answer this or whether this was even raised today, but when it comes to the formal hearing, how flexible is the union likely to be on negotiating what is ultimately apparently going to have to be a downsizing of the workforce to some degree?
Absolutely, and the argument was put before the court that in any case there are going to have to be some types of payments, redundancies. What does that mean for the company? What does that mean for the staff? Well, the judge said for now all of those issues can be worked out at a later date. His key consideration was the staff were due to be sacked tomorrow, their employment terminated, and once that happened there was no going back. So he made this late night injunction that Hutchison themselves described as extraordinary and warned would come at a considerable cost to the company, but those staff, just what happens tomorrow, whether they stay, whether they are allowed back inside the work site, we don't know. All of that, all of the logistics being worked out from lawyers from both sides as we speak. Stan?
Yes, the injunction granted, but this still has a long way to go. Cameron, thank you for that. Cameron Price joining us live there. Well, the trained military marksman